I must say that 2 or 3 years ago when I got a call from an American company saying they wanted to create 400 or 500 jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars in Riverside County, and it was going to build a solar project, I thought, wow, this is easy. And I certainly would have never thought that I'd stand at the podium sort of at odds with somebody that's been a friend and I've respected for a long time in Supervisor Benoit. So I find it in an odd set of circumstances that it's developed like this, but it has. Mr. Chair and Supervisors, my name is Rob Bernheimer, and I do represent First Solar. I was going to come up here to address one issue which I want to tackle first, and then I want to tackle a couple issues that have come up during the discussion today. And that one issue is the county's been doing this since 1913. You've heard from a lot of people today that have suffered for the past 4 years in an economy that no doubt is the worst of our generation and in many respects the worst in the history of the Inland Empire. I'm sure you've seen today's press enterprise. The economy is not recovering like the rest of the nation. Riverside is going in the reverse direction. So if this has been the policy for the last 100 years, it's time to change. We've always done it in the past. There's no reason to do this in 2011. But the truth of the matter is, though, that Riverside County has not imposed this fee ever. Driving into the Coachella Valley, you see scores of windmills generating electricity, most having needed a county permit. Not one pays 2%. Just off the I-10, there's a natural gas-fired power plant. It doesn't pay 2%. Go south on Highway 86, and there are geothermal power plants generating electricity. They don't pay 2%, and neither does First Solar's 21 megawatt project just outside of Blythe that's been generating power for over a year. There's not one electricity generating project in the history of the county that has paid anything, let alone 2%. Utilities pay 2%. Solar generation projects are not utilities, and you've heard some on that. They place power at the grid at a single point of entry. Utilities that pay 2% distribute their product, power, telecommunications, and the like. They convey their product over every street, road, and alleyway of the county to get into every home and business. The argument that you've been doing this since 1913 is the proverbial square peg in a round hole. I'd like to address a couple issues that have been raised, and can this be turned on to?
Yeah, if you can take the hand mic out of the folder if you want to stand there and go over that.
That's a photovoltaic solar resource map of the United States. Riverside County is not the only good place to build a solar project. The sun shines bright in a lot of areas, and that's why First Solar and others are developing here and elsewhere. So I have a fundamental disagreement with the argument that you pass a 2% fee or tax or whatever you want to call it, and the jobs are still going to come. That's what the aerospace, we learned that in the aerospace industry. You pass too many regulations, the aerospace industry disappeared. You pass too many fees and regulations on any industry, and they're going to find a way not to pay them, and in that case it would mean don't build in Riverside County, and then you lose out the $197 million in wages that First Solar will be paying in Riverside County for employment just to build this one project. So I think that that's an important item to consider. I want to talk a little bit, and just briefly, and not from I know I'm an attorney, but I'm not here to talk legal or Prop 26 or anything like that. Is this a mitigation fee? No, according to your attorney, it's not a mitigation fee. But it's somehow not a tax. What I heard Supervisor Benoit say is the county deserves a slice of the gross profits. That sounds like a tax to me. The state deserves a slice of my income. That's an income tax. The federal government deserves a slice of my income. That's a tax. So forget the legalistic part of it. What you're really saying is you want to generate some slice of this income to compensate the county. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, and the public sees it as a tax. And that's the perception that's out there. Now, whether or not it's legally a tax or is a tax or what have you, that's really what it is. And with regards to the chairman's suggestion that we need to compensate for the visual impacts, well, number one, not all the technologies create the same visual impacts. Some of them are very low to the ground, others are not. Some of them take more land, some of them take less. So to have a one-size-fits-all fee, no matter how large or small the impacts, doesn't seem to me to be the best way to compensate for those impacts. And then what's the reasonableness test? Well, are you a county that wants to attract this industry and the jobs that go with it? Then I think that coming up with a mitigation fee, or however you want to couch it, that has some relationship to what the impacts are, and that can still be in the realm of reason, that's not going to drive the business away, is probably what makes the most sense. I'm not saying that the county shouldn't be compensated for the impacts that the county feels. I can only speak for First Solar, and I know that that's their position. If there's an impact, they think that they should pay the fair and reasonable amount for that impact, and they're not trying to get out of anything. What they're trying to do is get the county to the table so they can negotiate a contract and meet the deadline of DOE. And let me tell you how real that is. You have to be under construction by September 30th. In order to do that, you have to close financing. As anybody tries to close a home loan in the last year, trying to close a $300,000 loan takes 60 days. How do you close a loan on hundreds of millions of dollars? It takes time. And we're told by your staff that if we were to act today, it still takes 50 days for you to give us a permit. Well, do the math. We're at June 28th. We're not acting today, possibly. If we act today, 50 days later, then we can get a permit, then we can go shop the financing. We're out of time. If we want to get the benefits of the DOE loan program, and those benefits flow to the county, if that program allows the financing of this project, the county gets those sales tax dollars now. Your workers who have shown up in force get those revenues now. So we need to act now in order to be able to do that.
Thanks,
So
Mr. Bernheimer.
if we want to mitigate those impacts, we're willing to sit down and talk about it.